some kind of a challenge that's going to push you to really see what comes out. What was good in that? And what did it take to do that? And did you enjoy that? Everything doesn't have to be work to be valuable. It can be extremely valuable. We are exploring right now. So this video is about self-care. And it's snowing. We are near the water. It is snowing. And this video is going to be about self-care when you're in the middle of a YouTube challenge, which I'm doing a 30-day challenge for Lent. I'm posting every single day except for Sundays. And actually, you don't have to even be in the middle of a challenge in order for you to realize that if you're going to be creating on YouTube, you are going to need some kind of boundaries on your enthusiasm, because there's a lot that goes into keeping a channel going, and that's the thing. It's not like you just do it and it's fun. It can be a lot of work. So this is even if you're posting once a week, it's a lot of work. Even once a week for people who don't have day jobs, it's a lot of work. And it really all depends on how elaborate you want to get. And this is where you kind of really have to get to know yourself, get to know what your natural limitations are at this point. And the wonderful thing about this challenge is that it very quickly brings you near to the crisis point of exhaustion if you are posting every single day and you've got other things going on and you're already busy and tired and, maybe stressed, a little stressed, and you get to a point where you're really feeling the wear and tear on your body, and you're only at day 5 of 30 or something like that. Today this is my 9th in a row, except for Sundays. So yesterday I had a day off, and I had a day off after between my second and third videos. So one thing that I have to say about that is I'm still working on the process of, I think it's an ongoing process, but the ongoing process of creating a system for creating videos. I think it's really an ongoing thing because you're constantly learning. Is that I'm really, because I'm being pushed to the limits with this challenge, really, really starting to realize where the value is in any given video. And because it's when you're squeezing it out in a day, you're just looking at it afterwards, and you're seeing a lot wrong with it, and you're seeing what you like about it. You know what went into it. And what I'm seeing right now is I'm realizing that value is in a couple of things. One of them that I'm really realizing about right now is the value of the information itself and the sources that you cite. So far, my best performing video was one about what our callings are according to the Catholic Church. And the whole video was nothing but me basically reading out of the catechism. And this is information that people find extremely valuable. I find it extremely valuable. And it so happens that I actually really enjoy going on that scavenger hunt for information. So this is a strength that I have underutilized, and it really adds a lot of value. So that's an example of something that I have noticed is really valuable through this challenge by when you're really just pushing and you're putting out a lot of different kinds of content, like whatever it is that comes that day, putting it out there. And not just seeing how it performs, because this is such a new channel, there's not a lot of people gonna see it anyways, but just seeing it afterwards, maybe a few days later when you've had time to move on from it and kind of go back and look at it a little bit more objectively, seeing what's in there that's valuable and what kind of takes away from that value also. So I was exhausted when I did that one, reading from the book. And even though the information was really good, I was just half dead and had nothing to share with it. And so taking good care of myself is actually performing better, making better videos, and it doesn't even need that as an excuse. I need to take care of myself. We all know we need to take care of ourselves. And it's something that my husband and I have actually talked about a lot in the past few months, about just being able to take better care of ourselves. And this little trip that we are on right now, exploring in Maine, is part of that. We had made a decision a while back to reward ourselves for some of the things that we were doing that were very challenging, and we set aside a certain amount of money for that, and we decided to take a short trip to Maine because we never stayed up in Maine before. And so here we are, and it is a lovely place. So part of being able to take care of yourself as a person creating on YouTube is to really get to know what your strengths are, what you can do with less time and effort that's going to bring really good value, that you're actually going to enjoy it and you're going to be happy with the results. And so that's one thing. Another thing just being that taking care of yourself does take effort. Sometimes it actually takes work, commitment, really being able to be aware and don't get too obsessed with anything. Be aware of, how to kind of start to just take your foot slightly off that gas pedal and start to come back off and see where you can make sure that you're taking care of yourself and being there for the people around you. And that's all part of it. We are created for love, and loving others is part of taking care of ourselves. So we've just been spending some time together. We came back here and we had lunch, and now Steve's taking a nap. I wasn't ready for a nap. I wanted to do this. I'm not really a nappy person. Can't really sleep. That's not really my self-care. But what I did was I took some time to listen to the daily readings. And you know how God provides? Well, I read the daily readings, and interesting because it relates to self-care. The first one actually relates to self-care. This is about Naaman, the army commander of the king of Aram, who was a highly esteemed and valiant man, but he was also a leper. So the king of Israel tells Naaman to go to the prophet Elisha for healing. Naaman came with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. The prophet sent him the message, "Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will heal and you will be clean." But Naaman went away angry, saying, "I thought that he would surely come out and stand there to invoke the Lord his God, and would move his hand over the spot and thus cure the leprosy." So he wasn't happy because self-care takes time. And eventually he does do as Elisha said. He does take the time and he's cured of his leprosy. It's worth it. So I just thought that was interesting that God provided me with something from the Bible that tells us that, that thing that you need to do for yourself, it's worth the trouble. So keep that in mind too, okay? So everything doesn't have to be work to be valuable. It can be extremely valuable. And Steve and I really needed a break. We're here taking one, and also being able to see that a fun thing that I love to do, which is looking for great information and actually sharing that specific information that is not an invention of mine, but a beautiful thing that our church provides to us, that God has provided through the church. As I found for that video on our callings, as according to the Catholic Church. So I highly recommend doing this kind of a challenge, some kind of a challenge that's going to push you to really see what comes out, and what it takes, and what you're seeing when you look back at it as what was good in that, and what did it take to do that, and did you enjoy that? And also just realizing that none of it's that serious, as Tiana V would say. Actually, I think she was quoting someone else. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But Tiana V Vlogs is one of the people that I like to watch. But anyway, so whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you're putting off that you need to do for yourself, don't put it off too much longer. Ask God to help you. He will. He will. He will help you do whatever it is that you need. Spend time with Him. He will refresh you. And I hope that you will take care of yourself, and that God will bring forth the beauty of your gifts to give Him glory wherever you choose to be creative. Have a great day.